Welcome back to the Commercial Real Estate Show. I'm Michael Bull. Thanks for being with us. Today we're talking about industrial real estate and logistics. And we have Mr. Logistics here, Page Siplon, with us. And we have Miss Site Selection, Annie Baxter. I think we now have new Twitter handles for you guys, right?
Yeah, thank you, Michael.
And the Panama Canal expansion is supposed to open in the second quarter of 2016. How is this expansion and the ports preparing for these larger mega ships? How is that impacting logistics and industrial real estate?
Yeah, well, it's a global market. Those products coming into the U.S. and all over the world are coming from all over the world, and companies need to have the cheapest form of moving that on the water, road, and rail. It doesn't really matter. So this Panama Canal has been a gateway for global trade for many, many years. About 100 years old this year, to be specific, in August. And so as that pipeline gets larger, we hear a lot of development and investment being made in China. A lot more products are coming from there in that neck of the woods. It needs to get into the U.S. Well, how does it get here? And a lot of it comes through the Panama Canal. There's been a speed bump in the Panama Canal size for many years, and they've had to use smaller ships just to fit through the Panama Canal. Think about it, that's why they're so tall and narrow. If you ever see one, it's so they can fit through that stretch of water. So they're investing many, many millions of dollars into expanding it and widening it and deepening it. And that's going to happen, like you said, in the second quarter of 2016. But our end of the pipeline needs to be ready. So we've got to deepen our harbors to be able to accept those larger vessels.
And are our U.S. ports ready? And which ones are ready? Which ones are going to be ready?
Yeah, ready's a big word, right? And they've got to be ready in a few different ways. One of the ways, as we mentioned, is to get those big boats in here. But you also need capacity to move that. The cargo doesn't just want to come to the port, right? It doesn't want to just sit on the dock.
It wants to get unloaded?
It wants to get unloaded. It wants to get into our hands. It wants to get into the Home Depot stores around the country. So it requires a multi-mode sort of transportation network to make that happen. So ready is impacting a lot of different things. On the water side, we struggle. We've woefully underinvested in our infrastructure here in the United States as a nation, and we've got to catch up to what the other side of that pipeline is already investing in. Yeah. There are a few ports that have deep water. Virginia, for example, because the naval base has 50 feet. The ports on the West Coast, they're open ocean, so they're pretty deep. They've got other challenges. Landside, you read about all the congestion issues and labor issues on the West Coast. In the Port of Savannah, which is the fourth largest port in the country, our Achilles heel is that shallow port. We've invested in larger cranes, we've invested in landside infrastructure, roads, rails, the list goes on, technology, but we need to have that harbor deepened, and we're starting that project this year.
All right, so that's underway there at the Port of Savannah. When should that be ready?
It's about a 3-year process. It's about 27 miles worth of water that we need to deepen about 6 feet, and that's a lot of dirt to move. Yeah. And the environmental mitigation needs to be in place. About 2/3 of the total project incorporates environmental mitigation, which is important. So that's been a big part of that project as well.
And the ships are all ready. They have the big, larger ships already?
Correct. Yeah, we see post-Panamax size ships, the ones that are too big to fit through the Panama Canal already. We have a 42-foot river, not to get too technical, but we have an 8-foot tide, so we can actually get those 50-foot vessels in. The window's really narrow, and so the Savannah Harbor Expansion Project is all about widening that window, giving more flexibility, which is key to logistics, to allow those boats to come in a little more unconstrained.
And we talk about the Port of Savannah, and that's not just impacting Savannah, right? That's impacting a large part of the U.S., isn't it?
Yeah, well, if you draw a line between Dallas and Chicago, about 70% of U.S. consumers live in our neck of the woods, East Coast, east of that line. So yeah, the Port of Savannah serves about 44% of the country. But that's not just a Savannah issue, right? There's projects going on in New York. The Bayonne Bridge needs to be either lowered or raised up. The list goes on for these different ports around the country that need to step up and be ready, whatever that means for that particular port and region.
Yeah, and one of the things that are more concerned in the U.S. and around the country is security these days, and you have, with these ports, have to handle security. How big is security in the world of logistics?
Well, unfortunately, it's a big deal. It's a big deal in all of our lives. 9/11 changed the way we use technology for supply chain security. It's changed our airports. It's permeated in all parts of our lives, and certainly in industrial real estate and logistics more broadly, it's a big deal. One of the things that we talk about to help mitigate logistics or help mitigate security challenges is visibility, supply chain visibility. I won't get into it here, but there's a lot of opportunities to have better visibility into your products, where they're moving, and you can use that to alleviate some of the added costs that security adds to your supply chain.
And so is there more security issues with these larger ships coming in and some of the changes going on? I mean, it seems like there's more product being moved quickly to the consumer, and we're all concerned about security, right?
Sure. That volume certainly makes it more difficult.
Yeah.
It doesn't scale very well. So.
All right. And tell our listeners about the importance of full truck versus non-full truck loads when it comes to logistics.
Yeah, those products need to move a lot of different places. Every company is a little different. Some companies move very large, heavy things or full pallet size type products, and they need then to put it onto a full truckload. Full truckload, just to maybe say it simply, is really a point-to-point solution. And just as the name entails, a full truckload full of product, usually for that one customer. But that doesn't satisfy. Think about small businesses who maybe just have one pallet of honey, right, that they need to move, making up a product. They need to move that product. They don't have a full truckload. So we've introduced, and it's been around for quite some time, called less than truckload. It's a little bit more expensive, but it's slower. Because it's got to go to multiple points to pick up the rest of the products to fill up the rest of that truck. So it's a full truckload, less than truckload are both current solutions for the truckload market, and we see both of those growing at pretty good clips.
And this need for consumers that want it now. I mean, I want to order something on my phone and get it tomorrow. Is that making a big change in the logistics world? I mean,
sure.
What else is changing from that?
Well, it's allowing small companies to step into the world of selling products, and they're not immediately going to be Home Depot-sized companies, right? So they need solutions that lend themselves to small business, less than truckload, like I mentioned. Yeah. And there's a lot of other solutions, technology solutions, and the list goes on as far as what small businesses need to be able to compete in this global market that we talked about.
Yeah, those big companies that are great at moving their products around, like Lowe's, they do a great job of knowing what we need and having it in stock and then getting it to us. So, well, stay tuned. We'll have more on logistics and the industrial real estate market. And so come back and see us. I'm Michael Bull. This is the Commercial Real Estate Show. We'll be right back. The Commercial Real Estate Show is brought to you by Bull Realty Commercial Brokerage, a great place to do business. Visit bullrealty.com. RealNex, a comprehensive suite of powerful commercial real estate tools at an incredibly low price. Visit realnex.com. That's RealNex. Sozo Web Hosting and Cloud Solutions. Secure, reliable, and worry-free. Visit sozo.com. That's SOZO.com. FIU, Florida International University. Earn your master's in real estate online in as little as 10 months. Visit FIUonline.com. And by France Media, providing exposure to the world of commercial real estate. Visit francemediainc.com. For more information on these great companies or for additional podcasts, videos, or blogs, visit creshow.com.